Hey everyone, so I'm about to get into my video today on predictive programming. But before I get into my video on predictive programming, I just want to make a couple announcements. So, one is I am the first or second week of August going to be finishing the last 5 parts of my series on HARP and the weather manipulation. I got to do it. I gathered all the remaining information and I'm going to drop it in 5 videos, probably starting the first or second week of August. So be on the lookout um, as those videos will be dropping over the next, 2 to 4 weeks. And I'm hoping to get that series done by the middle to end of August. I did just want to give you guys a brief update on the status of this hurricane season. So I was able to receive a timeline of it really picking up between the week of August 8th and 15th. So that's when I see things really, really beginning. And I see it lasting until the middle to end of October. So I gave you guys that timeline. I just wanted to say there's been nothing really yet, but it will be picking up in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Okay. One last thing. I also am going to be announcing that after I'm done with my series on HARP and the weather manipulation, this is a lot. I'm going to be doing a series on starseed trafficking and why starseeds are trafficked and how this is connecting to kind of this, the trafficking operation and the trafficking rings, and how starseeds are really at the core of this ring. And how, especially with everything going on right now with all this Epstein stuff and all that, a lot of people are just going down 3D rabbit holes with kind of what it's all about. But it's literally been a starseed soul harvesting operation that's keeping the elites operating like the Matrix. This is what this Matrix is made about. It's literally made from trauma and harvesting of light souls and adrenochrome and this elite reptilian operation. I mean, this is nothing new. This is what this Matrix is made on. And it's just, with this Epstein stuff, people are just going down all these 3D rabbit holes and a lot just don't know. They're going to go down, the conspiracy route, which to each their own. But when you get to the core of it, you see what this is actually about and how starseeds are the biggest war on this planet is the war between the elites and starseeds, because the starseeds are here to help in the shift of consciousness, and the elites are here to take the starseeds, traffic them, create so much karma and trauma to their souls so that it opens up a portal and creates so much karma that they have to come back here lifetime after lifetime with the trauma manipulated and the soul wide open for the same thing to keep happening lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. This is the Matrix, guys. This is what this world is made on. These are what the systems are made on. This is all underground and all hidden. So imagine if the world just knew starseeds were at the core of this. I mean, in the information that I have it gets very deep. And it's going to be a lot for me to talk about this, but I just have to do it, guys. I don't give a fuck about the Matrix anymore, and I really don't give a fuck about any system left on this planet. So I'm going hard right now with the information, and I gotta do it because, if I just keep waiting longer and longer and longer, as I feel like so much of this world is questioning, they really don't know what's going on deep down, then what am I of service of, right? If I'm aware of the information about what's actually going on, and so many people are at a point of questioning, why not share what I'm aware of with the elite starseed, sex trauma, ritual harvesting, karma, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, adrenochrome rate. Okay? So it gets really deep. So I'm going to do that after the HARP series. So hopefully I'll start that in September. And I'll always mix in some videos here and there. So with that, guys, I'm going to be getting into my video on predictive programming. So obviously in my last video, I went into depth on kind of how, the timeline was manipulated from 2020 to 2024, and predictive programming was a cause of that. So predictive programming is something that, has been around, ever since, this matrix was formed, right? Like, the elite, they're not dumb. They know about consciousness. They damn well know about starseeds because they use starseeds as their bait for their rituals. I'm going to repeat that. They use starseeds as their bait for rituals, mostly blood and sex and adrenochrome. And that happens lifetime after lifetime. Earth is a prison planet, so you have to heal your karma to move on. So I'm going to get into that in the series. But long story short, so they damn well know what they're doing. So when they, for example, when we are, children and we are told, this is, this is how early on the predictive programming begins. To keep their matrix going through consciousness. They know about consciousness. They know how we are slaves for them to keep creating their reality because we are not questioning their reality in a way that, that enough of the masses has done yet, right? Like, obviously there's people like me, there's other sources out there, there are people who are questioning, but on a global scale, there hasn't been mass questioning until just about now. But anyway, just think about it. From when we're, kids were told, in the MK Ultra education system, right? Like, we're told you have to be this, that, and that. These are the options that you can do in life, right? We're ripped away from our soul mission. We are literally, think about it, I don't even know of an analogy. Think about it, we are young and we're just ripped right away into this false illusion, right? That's serving the elites in their, this matrix is literally for the elites and their rituals. We are making money for the elites and their rituals. We are selling our soul to jobs and education for elites and their rituals. This is what this reality is made of. And I'm happy people are just starting to question that now, because it's not been easy knowing this for a while. Anyway, guys, this video is going to be a lot. This is predictive programming, and it might not be the predictive programming that you heard, but it's everything that they tell us in our conscious mind creating the reality. Talking fast. You make this video probably 20 to 25 minutes. Okay. So, think about it, guys. We're told everything, right? And then we're ripped from our soul mission at a young age, and then we're bought into the systems. And the more we're in the systems, the less we're starting to question, because we have authority telling us what to think, feel, or believe. So it goes the people at the top, the elite who are controlling the timelines, the realities, whatever, they're the ones who are feeding us, they're predictive programming people from a young age to grow up and keep the system going consciously, because if we're not questioning the system's going to stay the same. The system is not going to crash if we're all just doing what they want us to be doing. Right? So then we get into education, right? We are literally being mass programmed to create the reality for them, right? Okay. Trying to get this all out in a way that's going to make the most sense. It gets very deep. So, when we're growing up, we're consciously creating the reality. Oh, look, they have TV. They have children's programs. Children are unknowingly, as we're growing up to being adults, we're watching Illuminati cartoon rituals on, Disney Channel. They have TV, so we are literally consciously, as we're growing up, seeing all this satanic Illuminati messaging, in our little conscious minds, and we don't even know what's going on at this point. If you guys are thinking about it, we are watching what Hollywood is doing from a young age and just keeping the reality going, right? They get us from such a young age. Oh, let's just watch, all these satanic things on TV, all these, you know, just all the elite agendas are like just coming at people from such a young age to just keep in their mind. How do they know? How do they question what they're watching on TV and the satanic messaging that's all on TV that start at children's shows and now is probably horrific? And no wonder why I never really liked watching. Growing up, I never really was like a TV person. No wonder why I probably thinking about that. But I can only imagine what those shows are like now. So think about it. For children, we're watching what they're putting on TV, right? We're like letting it sit in our conscious mind. You know, we're in school, we're listening to authority, right? Authority's programming the reality into our conscious mind. This is happening on a mass level. Well, the elite's doing what they're doing. We're just helping them out with their reality, right? We're their slaves for them to keep that conscious timeline going. Oh, nothing's wrong here. We're just watching what we're watching. We're just doing what we're doing. Everything's normal. Everything's fine. So, you know, as we get older, right? Then we get into the news media. Or, you know, more in-depth TV shows. Whatever. News, what is it? Predictive programming. You know, you're watching something on TV and it's mimicking frequencies of like mind control. So when you're watching the news and it says headline, Category 5 hurricane targeting Florida, if we're all at that point like, oh shit, hurricane targeting Florida, let's all consciously make it go away. Let's all consciously send, I'm saying in a 5D reality world. I just got a phone call, so my phone video cut off. So, but what I was saying basically was like, you know, when we're watching, you know, media or something and it says Category 5 hurricane targeting Florida, in a 5D reality, you know, light workers and starseeds, what would we do? We did what we did with Milton and just stopped the hurricane with our consciousness. But because consciousness does control the reality, controls kind of agendas, which I'll get into. But, you know, but what ends up happening are people who are like so enrooted in the matrix that doesn't know any of this type of stuff. Their mind is saying, freaking out and getting into a conscious level of fear about a Category 5 hurricane hitting Florida. Their mind has the words in it, and it's creating the reality of a Category 5 hurricane to hit Florida, right? So like when the media says, or even just, if you guys really think about it, weather is like the Weather Channel app and radars are predictive programming because they want us to see, oh, look, the satellite is showing this storm coming over, you know, and it's going to rain at 4 o'clock. Most of the time it's wrong, but the information actually I picked up on was it is a form of predictive programming. If we're all able to control, like we could stop a storm, like think about it, like if people in the Matrix are seeing, you know, on a weather radar or a weather app that a big storm's coming over, like between 3 and 5 p.m. and everyone's just plugging that into their mind, the storm's going to come over between 3 and 5 p.m. If people are like, oh, whatever, it'll go away, it won't happen, because this does happen, oh, it won't happen, they're wrong. Those are people who just question or just, you know, people who don't believe everything that the Matrix says, or even just with weather predicting. But, the storm won't come over, right? If there's people like that are like, oh yeah, it won't happen. So like, minds control reality. I mean, look at how, you know, look at some of the shows like The Simpsons, right? Like that's predictive programming. Look at what they did before, you know, before certain terrorist attacks, right? Like, which is literally just like an elite pawn. Like, they have terror. They have the elite, right? Like they control all that. So it's like it's such an illusion. But that being said, like, why were there commercials in the 80s and 90s of like towers falling, right? Why are we storing that in our conscious mind? Why are they telling us, like, ritualistically programming events into mass programming events into public consciousness? Like, why are there literal commercials of people jumping out of like buildings and towers falling before 9/11. Like decades before 9/11. Why are there or why were there, shows? Right? This is all elite. Like, this is them being like, hey guys, you're all our slaves. We're just going to tell you whatever we're going to do because you're all so dumb and we were going to get away with it. That's literally what this is about. Like, just pausing to take in this beautiful chemtrail sunset. Literal, just they've been spraying the sun, so, but at least I get a little bit of it. Okay, guys, sorry, just blinking out because it's a lot of information. But yeah, like, why are they releasing like sci-fi shows of like what, like that Plandemic that they released in 2020, like well before they released it, right? Like that was a predicted. I said that year was predicted programming. Enough people stored that timeline for that to occur, right? They really, like, they did a lot of predicted programming with the years between 2020 and 2024, for sure, with a lot of the artificial timeline stuff. That totally backfired. But then we look at shows like Black Mirror and 0 Day. Those are like recent, like that's, so Black Mirror that came out before 2020. Immediately I knew it was predictive programming. But if you guys really think about it, they are literally telling us about their like that type of show is like what their like 2030 like New World Order agenda was about. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the Black Mirror show like is. It's literally like global order, like 2030, like transhumanism. Like, that's literally what that is. So they have actually predicted programmed a lot of Black Mirror to eventually happen after the show was released. I don't know what year it actually was released. I think it was before 2020. So it was before 2020 because I remember watching it as soon as like 2017 or 18. And I like knew it was predictive programming then. And before my awakening, I'm like, something is really off here. And then we look at 0 Day. And when 0 Day was released in early 2025, I knew. I was like, holy shit. They are literally going to try the Elite Blackout that I've been channeling for like since 2020, 2021. When I was like, that's going to be the event that's going to like... I did a whole video on the Elite Blackout, like with the false alien invasion that they wanted to. With like, but like, that being said, guys, I did get confirmation that the Galactic Federation would intervene and that would be intercepted immediately, and real disclosure would happen immediately. Like, if they actually they did what they did, if 0 Day actually happened, which don't forget, guys, like that is predictive programming. Like, they're trying to, they want that to happen. And I did channel, like, there is a possibility of that happening, but they're already aware that, like, full disclosure would happen right if they did something like that. So it's actually not an accessible timeline. They could do it, but that's a whole different story. But long story short, I think it's gonna be the solar flare that leads to the blackout and the crash of the systems. I can't say I'd be surprised if they did it, but I think it's probably gonna be the... Sorry, my phone cut out again. But it's probably gonna be the solar flare that leads to the the crash of the systems. I mean, that's still about, I think it's still going to happen in 2028. That's the year that I got like the highest percentage, but watch that video. I'm not going to get into that here. So we have the information on like all this predictive programming stuff, right? Like, they have it in like medicine, right? Like, think about it. We are able to like predictive program the reality the more we're kind of like drugged up on their matrix. If that makes sense. Like, if we're all on like drugs and alcohol, which is just a form of elite MK Ultra programming, why would they create drugs and alcohol? And like, I'm not opposed to like certain plant medicines. I know that's also another weird thing especially with like the new age, just totally taking that up to bypass spirituality in an artificial way, which I'm not supportive of, but like I am supportive of like like a one time like or a few times like doing ayahuasca or something like that. Like even though like I'm personally sober, I wouldn't do that, but like I'm not I think there is something to that, you know? But anyway, like why are they releasing substances into the population so that we can be in a conscious level, right? Like don't forget, like they control the components and substances. Like they damn well know that we're like it's just making us more of their slaves, right? Like I'm even gonna get into kind of how like this is a whole nother story, but like kind of how I was in AA for 2 years after I got sober, and I left because I was like this. It just felt like it was very like low vibrational, and I was like I don't want to participate in like some like secret society like that the Illuminati like made, because it really was like AA like those programs, and like to each their own. Like if it works for you, like please do it. But like when I woke up, I was like, I'm not like gonna participate in this like secret society that was like from the 1930s, like, and it just felt very like Illuminati like it felt like I felt energy of like the Illuminati like in AA, and like it just felt very cult like, and it felt very like MK Ultra like too, and anyway, that's just a whole different story, like, you know, and there's a lot of fear, and you know, if you leave, you're gonna die. Like I was told that when I left, and I was like, okay, look at me now, guys. Like I'm so beyond. Like I totally had an upgrade in consciousness after leaving, but that's a whole different story. But it's like even just like you know, like certain that's a form of like predictive programming the reality too, because it's like then I don't know how to explain it, but like I'm just saying like then we're creating a reality of like we needing to be like dependent on like a specific program or like institution, right? Because like that's kind of like what medical is, right? Like the medical system, we are literally like predictive programmed into the medical system. Like if you have medical insurance and you're going to a doctor, say like you're dependent on the system, like say like you're regularly going to the doctor, chances are you're going to form a reality where like you're going to keep going to the doctor, right? Like I personally have not been to the doctors in 2 years, and when my medical insurance expires, I will not be getting medical insurance, right? Because that's a form of like predictive programming, like future health issues. If that makes sense. I'm just getting deep into like the whole predictive programming agenda because it gets so deep, guys. It's like not even just with media. That's the thing. Like they have every TV show, everything, right? Like they have all the news. They have all the institutions, right? Like we are literally keeping it going with just our conscious mind and like not questioning. I'm trying to think of other examples. Yeah, they just do it. They also just do it to like pit people against one another, right? Like they just create so much issues in society that like they like literally make it like form into our conscious minds that things are happening that aren't really happening, but then they happen. And then it's an issue. So it's like, it's really, they're just doing it to like literally once again be like, haha, like we can control all you guys and control your perception on everything. It's so like, it gets so intense. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else predictive programming related. Yeah, like there's those sci-fi shows and just all that. It gets so dark. It gets so deep. And like just education and all that. Like that's why what can we do to like still live in this matrix until it collapses, right? And know that everything's like predictive programming. What can we do about it? This is so easy, guys, and I know that this is the right, like, for me, I've gotten confirmation it's the right answer. Oh my god, they're literally just, the sun's about to go. Oh, they really destroyed the sky with the spraying. It's going right into the chemtrail thing. Oh, I'm so sad, like, I get so angry, guys. But anyway, what can we, okay, so the information that I got is like, all we need to do is literally just have in our conscious mind that it's predictive programming, and it automatically is like, we're not engaging in that. Like, because that's the inner rebellion of our consciousness. if we're aware that something they're doing is predictive programming, we could still like watch a show like 0 Day and not feed the timeline and the consciousness of that to happen. So yeah, that's kind of like it, guys, with predictive programming. I mean, it gets so deep. I mean, think about it. They get us to form the reality for them from such a young age. Think about it, like us watching TV as children. I mean, now imagine what they're doing with the TV. But like all the satanic messaging, all the Illuminati symbolisms, all of that, we're just like totally taking it in and being like, okay, yep, that's the right thing. Yep, that's what the experts say. Yep, right. And like meanwhile, the elites are just running their operations and soul harvesting left and right, and creating so much trauma in starseeds and manipulating so much like of their soul, so then they come back here and then they have so much problems with like, I'm not even gonna get into in this video, but then it gets into like, okay, then they're back here, and then in this next life, then they, get victimized again, really, and they're, they take away, I guess, like sacred sexuality and like manipulate all of that. And then, so like literally this is the reality we are creating for them. This is all it is. It's literally we're literally just feeding the elites and the reptilians. But like, as the frequency keeps raising, guys, like this is all just going to come to light about like all this predictive programming and all that. But yeah, so I'm happy that I was able to get into it as much as I can. I'm sure it sounded a little confusing here and there, but I just wanted to release it because I wanted to get a video out on predictive programming and kind of how they really get us. I mean, not if you're awake, but like, think about it. If you're so rooted in the Matrix and you're turning on the news every single morning and literally creating their reality, or if you're like believing in all these old narratives and just like creating their reality, like, guys, like, it gets so deep. It gets so deep. But so where I'm going from here is, I'm gonna probably do a couple other videos on some other things, before the second week of August. And then I'm going to finish my part series, the last 5 parts, and give a finalized prediction video of this hurricane season. And like, I'll do the weather through the end of the year. So I'll include that probably in the last one. So that should be done like probably mid to end August at the latest. And then I'm gonna start the series on starseed trafficking, which really is kind of like just gonna get into like kind of what all this like Epstein stuff was really about all along, guys. It gets so deep in Hollywood and all that. Like, I'm gonna be the 5D version of like what the 3D version of the story is, or like all the conspiracy theories about it. Like, I'm just gonna get right to the chase, no fucks given, get into like what this operation is about, because I have a lot of knowledge about it, which I'm not going to get into right now, but which I'll get into, and how because of those operations, there's lingering agendas that are being pushed with it right now within certain. I'll get into it. Okay, not going to get into it right now. With that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video on predictive programming. The 3-month portal is opening in literally 5 days. It's the 20th today. July 25th is when it opens up. Guys, literally July 25th through like around October 25th is going to be the 3 most powerful weeks of this year. And hopefully we'll get a peaceful closure in November and December, but lots about to go down. You can check out my prediction video. You can check out some of my other videos. I've been talking about it for a very long time, but just get ready. And, just do a lot of grounding this week. This new moon, I think that's happening on the 24th, is really going to open up that 3-month portal. But Friday, is exactly the 2 weeks until Lionsgate. That's when I see, a huge shift happening for, the next 3 months. So, get ready, guys. We're in it. And wishing you all such a beautiful week to come. And I'll see you. I'll make a video, obviously, probably, around that opening of the 3-month portal. Um, and just so much isn't coming, guys. And just hold your highest timeline. You know, really just take this time to really dig deep and live true to your soul. And just don't, give all your power away to the outside noise that's going on. Really just take this time. Like when the world is in chaos, I say the connection with source is the strongest. So that's all I have for today, guys. Sending you all so much love and light. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.